Hi everyone, welcome to episode 9 of the Arieknits podcast. My name is Ariel and this is a video podcast, and I will be sharing about things that I've been knitting, things I've finished knitting, and just all things knitting pretty much. Anything you can think of. I sometimes crochet, sometimes sew, but maybe less so the sewing, but it's just basically all knitting. So I hope that you are having a great day. It is Sunday, October 9th, as I'm filming this, and I usually film on Saturdays and then post on Sundays, but today I will be filming on Sunday and hopefully uploading this pretty soon after I film this. And the reason why I did not film yesterday was because I am part of the Woolberry collective, which, if you don't know, is Woolberry Fiber Co. Is owned by Bethany, and so it's a yarn company, and she has this thing called the Woolberry Collective where you can, I think it's only open once a year that you can join in the collective, where you pay, I think it's $40 a month to get exclusive access to monthly colorways that she does. Every month you get a free skein plus 10% off everything else that she does throughout the year. And you can leave the collective whenever you want if it's not for you, or I think it just keeps renewing. And I joined this year for the first time, and I really have been enjoying it. So anyway, yesterday was a Camp Woolberry virtual retreat that was only available for Woolberry Collective members, and it was the first time that I was doing anything like that. And it is also, the collective members also have, I don't know how often they do it, but they have knit nights virtually, and I have not done any of those because it just kind of scares me to, like, I'm sure that everyone's super nice, but it just kind of scares me to be on a call with people I don't know, even though we all love knitting and yarn. But so I've never done it because I was just too scared. But so yesterday was the first time that I actually joined in on something with other members of the collective, or just, actually it might have been the first time I've joined any kind of virtual thing with knitters and yarn lovers and all of that. So it was really fun. I know I usually talk about stuff like that at the end of the video, but I just wanted to briefly explain why I did not film yesterday. So that's that. I'll talk more about it at the end of this video during the part where I usually talk about that kind of stuff, but just wanted to start with that because it just happened yesterday. It was all day and I had a really fun time. So yeah, that is that. But to get on with the regular schedule of content that I usually talk about on these videos, I will talk about what I am wearing right now. And I'm so sorry that there's these light things coming through the window. This is the only place that I can really film in my apartment, and I tried to close the blinds, which, if you can believe it, did help, but there's still like these like light things. So I hope that doesn't bother you too much. I'll try and stay out of it and not have, anyway, I'll try my best. I hope it doesn't bother you too much. But what I am wearing today, it is actually also one of my finished objects. It is the Lighthouse Keeper Pullover, which is by Lindsey Fowler. And it is from her book, new, still new. I think it came out maybe a month ago already, but I've talked about it so much because I love the book so much. It's my first actual knitting book that I bought and own. It is the Salt and Timber book by Lindsey Fowler. So I'll stand up so you can see the pullover. So I'm hoping that the camera, maybe if I go closer, you can see, the light. But you can see the colors. So what I decided to do was I used two yarns held together. The first one, Cascade yarns, Cascade 220 in the colorway Natural, which is just like a nice white color. And I think it's a worsted yarn, I think. And then I held it together with a Suri alpaca lace. It's Explorer Knits in the colorway Peaches and Cream. So that's why, hopefully you can see it in the camera, that there is nice little specks, not specks, but just little moments of peachy pinks and orange. And I am really happy with how this came out. I originally, so when I got the Salt and Timber book, I knew that I wanted to make this pullover, but I didn't have, or I couldn't think of any yarn in my stash that I had that I would want to make with it. So I was like, I'll just wait until some yarn comes along that calls to me, that's like, make this sweater out of me. So I was planning on just waiting, but then I found the Cascade yarns, because I usually don't have worsted weight yarn in my stash. I usually buy sock weight or fingering weight yarn. So when I realized that I had the Cascade yarn, I was like, oh, okay, now I just need a Suri to pair with it. And I had the Peaches and Cream Suri, which I bought as part of Explorer Knits ice cream collection, but I bought it because I love the color and I knew I wanted it in Suri, but I had no plans for it. I was just like, I'll find something for it, and so I thought it would be the perfect match. And I think it is. It's really nice because I am a bit, I think white sweaters look really nice, but I do like to have some color, and so I think this is the perfect, it makes the perfect, it's a nice white sweater, but it still has those like pinky peaches color that is just so me, like just having pink peachy colors. So yes, what else do I have to say? I made it in the size 5, which sounds, I'm usually doing size 1 and stuff, but the way that the sizing works for this pattern specifically is that it includes the children's sizes, so the children's sizes start at size 1. So I'm doing size 5, and what else about this sweater? I just really like the details. Like, I love this. I didn't know by looking at it like how this design was done, but it's pretty much like slip stitches, which I think is really cool. And I'm really happy with how it came out. I was a bit worried about the fit because I did not gauge swatch, which I know I should, and don't worry, whenever I do test knits, I always do gauge swatches for test knits, but when it's not a test knit, I sometimes don't, especially when I'm just way too excited to cast this on. And if you watched last week's episode, or was it the week before? No, I think it was last week. I casted this on and finished it, I think, in like a week and a half or 2 weeks if you really count like everything plus the blocking. And before I blocked it, I tried it on and it felt a bit tight. So I was a bit worried, like maybe I should have sized up because I wasn't sure to do this size or the next size up. So I was really worried that, because it felt really tight around like the underarms, and so I thought I should have maybe sized up, but I was hoping blocking would help. But sometimes with blocking, I'm still trying to figure out, I know that the real answer is just to always gauge swatch and to block your gauge swatches. But, you know, I don't always feel like doing it. I always do it for test knits though, so don't worry about that. But sometimes when it's just not a test knit, I just sometimes just don't feel it, and I just cast on and I take that risk. But I did, once I blocked this, I think it came out to be like the perfect size. So now it loosened up just enough under the arm so it's not tight anymore. The sleeve length is perfect, and it's the perfect amount of ease, I think. I didn't measure it after, but it is the perfect size, I think, and so I'm really happy with it. Okay, so there's a couple things I do want to talk about this sweater. I didn't realize that there's so many things I wanted to say about it, but I'm glad I remembered, because if I watched this back and I was like, oh, I didn't talk about this. So one of the things is, so the Cascade yarn, I was meaning to check this, but I don't think it's a superwash yarn. I think it's a non-superwash yarn. Is that right? Like, it's not it's not superwash. I am pretty sure, because at least it doesn't feel like it. So I was thinking pairing it with the Suri, which I find really, really soft, that it would make the sweater really soft still and wearable, which it does. The Suri does help, but compared to the other things that I've made with superwash yarn plus Suri versus a non-superwash plus Suri, this one is, the scratchiness still kind of comes through, so I can, when I kind of move around, I can feel, sometimes I get a bit itchy like up here, but it doesn't bother me that much, but it is an observation that I've made with this yarn pairing. So it is interesting. I think I'm really glad I used this yarn pairing with the Suri, because by itself it might have been a bit too scratchy and itchy for me. So I don't know, but I thought it was an interesting observation that I made about that. And then, okay, I actually used a new, I don't want to say a new technique, but it's something I've never done before with this sweater. And it has to do with the ribbing on just everywhere that there's 1x1 ribs. So for the neckline, for the sleeve cuffs, and also for the hem, I did something new that I haven't done before. And it's nothing crazy, but I've noticed that when I do 1x1 rib, I really hate how it looks. Like, it looks so stretched out and you can't see the individual columns of knit, purl, and I just never understood why my 1x1 rib looked so gross. And I feel like I've looked up kind of a little bit for some tips for fixing it, and one of the ones I saw was that after you do your purl stitch, is that right? Or after you do your knit stitch, that you pull, no, I think it's after the purl. I think it's after the purl that you make sure you tighten that stitch, because it can get really loose and that's what makes it do some weird tension things. But it's never worked for me. And one of the things I have noticed after doing 1x1 rib on a whole bunch of things is that for some reason the wrong side of my 1x1 rib looks a lot nicer and the way that I want it to look versus the right side. And I could never explain it. I have no idea what I'm doing, because, oh, and keep in mind that when I say the right and wrong side, this is when I'm working 1x1 rib in the round, that the wrong side always looks better than the right side for me. And I just never understood, because it really should look the same on both sides since it's 1x1 and it's just alternating. That's what I thought anyway. So what I decided to do for this sweater is to actually, when I start doing the 1x1 rib, is to actually invert everything and work it inside out so that the wrong side became the right side, if that makes any sense. And it actually came out exactly, I think I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my projects that say to do 1x1 rib, is I'm going to do it in, like, inside out. And I actually, the reason why is because, so for this sweater, you start with the neckline, and I guess because it's folded over, I can't show you the wrong side, but when I was working it, I realized that the other side looked a lot better, and so I decided to just flip it inside out and work it that way, and I really liked how neat the stitches looked. And I'm trying to find maybe a side that I can show you what I'm talking about as far as like the neatness of the stitches. Which, okay, maybe I'll show you the hem. So this is the right side, which I like, and you can clearly see the knit stitches here and then the purl there, which really looks more like lines, horizontal lines. Maybe I'll show on the side here. Like, they look like neat columns, and you can tell where the knit and purl stitches are, versus on the other side, it all just looks like the same. Like, you can't really tell which ones are the knits and purls, kind of, And I think what it is that the side that I think looks nice is when the knit stitches, like those V's, are really like close together like this, versus on this side, it's really far apart. Like this V, you can clearly see in between those knit stitches. Like I would prefer it to be more like squished together this way, which I think it looks a bit neater and like that on this side. I hope that makes sense. I think the sleeves look like how I want it to. Here where the knit stitches are clearly those V's and you can't really see like the lines in between it. So I don't know. It's just something, it's the first time I did knit like inside out so that the wrong side would be on the outside, which is, it's the same because it's 1x1, but anyway, I just wanted to point that out because it's something new that I tried. So if you also have the same problem as me, it might be something you want to try as well, because I really like the outlook or the end result of doing that. So the only thing you have to do when you work inside out that way is that, for me, what I did was when you do like German short rows and you do like that double stitch so that you don't make a hole because you're going in the other direction, I just did that for the first stitch to make sure that there was no hole where I'd be going in the other direction, if that makes sense. So yeah, so that's an interesting fact. And I just think a really cool kind of trick to do. So I'll keep doing this for the rest of my sweaters to see if it's something that I like, or if I can figure out a better way to make my 1x1 rib stitch look nicer. So also, if you have any tips for that, please let me know in the comments, because it's been a struggle and it does kind of bother me when I look at the things that I've made and I'm just like, oh, that 1x1 rib stitch could just look so much nicer. I don't know how people make it so nice. So I also knit continental style, so the yarn is in my left hand. So I don't know if that has anything to do with why the 1x1 rib also may look funky for me, because of the tension of just holding it that way. So I don't know. I think there might be a lot of factors. So anyway, that's a long story for the what I'm wearing section, but it's also finished objects, so that counts for about 2 things, right? So yeah, so I'm really happy with this sweater, and it's getting a little hot now in it actually, but it has been cool in the mornings and early afternoons, so I have been pulling out my sweaters and my cardigans to wear when it's cold, and I just keep holding on until I'm just like sweating and can't handle it anymore and change. But yes, sweater, the Lighthouse Keeper pullover. Yay! Okay, so I'm so sorry that this light is kind of, so I'll just maybe hunch over like this and we can talk like this. But yeah, so I actually have 2 more finished objects, which is just great because in this past week I've been feeling very motivated to finish things that were on my needles, especially ones that were on the longer side, because I just can't stand it, or it just really bothers me, because it's like I know that there's this thing that I can finish so quickly, and so I should just finish it. So that was kind of like the goal for this past week, was to finish things on my needles that I could finish. So I'll start with this next one. It is finally done. I think it's been like 4 months, which honestly I think is not that long to have something as a work in progress, but it was still bothering me, mostly because it is a tank and it's getting to be cooler season soon, and I just kind of wanted to finish all the tanks that I at least had on. Not saying I won't cast on more even when it's like really cold outside, but I just wanted to finish the ones that I casted on during the summer or spring. So this is the Mooncrush tank by Jacqueline Cieslak, and it is finally finished. So I have, when I started filming, so like in episode 1, I think I showed you that I finished the front, but I did not even cast on for the back. But now I finished the front and back, as you can see, and I've blocked it, and it looks really cute. It's a crop top, as you can tell, so it's like, it's really cropped. So I am planning on, when I wear it, I think ideally it'd be really cute wearing it over some really cute dress, so that it just kind of like flows out from under as a crop, because I don't think I have high-waisted pants that are like this high-waisted that'll cover, because I don't really like showing my stomach. So, but I think this would look really cute over a dress. And the yarn that I used, all three colors are from Sewrella. The pink is Parasol, the brown is Teak, and the yellow is Golden Hour, and this was from her Summer Tonals collection this year. So yeah, I think that this pattern is really nice for using up some leftover yarn if you have a pretty good amount of leftover yarn, so like less than a skein, but like a little over half left. So the three yarns I used for this were actually leftovers from the cardigan that I believe I wore last week on the podcast. So it's a great way to use up those yarns. And I love that you can, honestly, even if you have less than half a skein, you don't have to only use three colors. You can use like one color for each. You could use 6 if you wanted, you know, 3 for the front and 3 for the back. I think it's so cute. It's just so fun. And the pattern, so you work it front and back because of the intarsia knitting that you have to do to make the design. And I thought it was really fun. And it's a pretty quick knit. I did size 1. If you're wondering, I think next time that I make this, I will probably still do size 1, but I will do the not cropped version to add just a little more length on the bottom so that maybe I could wear it with pants instead of a dress. And they won't have to be like super high-waisted or anything. But yeah, I am so glad that I finished this because it has been a while and it was time. I will say the color, the part that I didn't super enjoy and I just really had to power through was the neckline, because there's just so much ends to weave in for the neckline, which you wouldn't think there would be, but it's because the inside, the folded part is different than the outside, right? And you also do, you don't have to, I guess, but you do add a couple, this might even have just been like one stitch of like that third color there. And it makes it look really nice with those little details, but it's just, it was a pain to deal with all of those ends to weave in. And the I-cord edging for the armholes also do the color switching. You don't have to, I guess, if you don't want to, but yeah, that just added more ends to weave in. But it does make it look really nice. So that's that, but it's a nice end product. I'm trying to hold it so that you can see it without seeing those the dots of the light. Yeah. So very happy with that. Very happy to have finished that. And then my last finished object for the week is actually another pattern. And I also did talk about this because last week I had one of the socks done. So I told myself, just finish the other half, the other side of the pair, because I've been pretty good about not getting stuck on only having one side of one sock. So, but I still need to tell myself to just get through it and finish the socks. But they're also from the Salt and Timber book, same as this sweater, and it's actually like the sock version of this sweater because it has the same like slip stitch detail on the leg Also, I finished these, but I didn't block them yet. I was meaning to block them, but then I just wanted to wear them, and I've been wearing them for like ever since I finished them, like every day. So, and I'm gonna, honestly, I almost forgot to bring these up because I was wearing them today, but I'm gonna wear them. I'm gonna put them on after I film this because my feet are cold. But yeah, so these, sorry, I didn't even say the name. These are the Marine Layer Socks by Lindsey Fowler, and I used Woolberry Fiberco yarn for this in the colorway I'd Like a Life, both for the Suri and the berry sock base. And as you can see, it is just like the prettiest pink gold color, variegated color, and the pink is a muted, like antique pink, if that makes any sense. It's not a bright pink, and I really like that. I think it matches that gold color in it really nice, so that it kind of like blends together and just looks really nice together. And the Suri on top, like, so the Suri is used from here, the cuff, to right here on the sock, and I never thought about using Suri on socks, but I think it is just like every single sock I make from now on, if I have leftover Suri, I think I'm going to make the cuff be with Suri because it's so cozy, and I just really like how that looks, and it's not itchy on my feet. I don't know how it'd feel if I made the whole sock in Suri, like, I'm not sure, but maybe if there's some, like, maybe a DK weight sock, I don't know. But on the cuff for sure, I feel like in the future, if I make some vanilla socks, that I would add Suri to the cuff, because that's also a great way to use up leftover Suri, I think, because Suri is kind of like a weird thing to have leftover of, I think. But I think it'd be good to use on sock cuffs for leftovers. So I think I'll be doing that. But yeah, so it gets used for the leg, and yeah, just some great socks. Did I write down what size? I did size 2 because I think the circumference, like the number of stitches, is 64, and the size 1 was 58, I think. And I've done socks previously with 64 stitches. I've made so many socks that you would think by now I would know what number of stitches I like for my socks, but I'm still experimenting, but I think we're getting closer. So I think 64 does work, but I am going to try 58 and I'll talk about it in my works in progress next, but I will try 58 stitches and see how I like that fit. So we'll see. I think I might actually be in between. Like, I think I might like 60 stitches, but 58 is just 2 stitches less, so maybe that'll work too. I'm not totally sure. So I'm still experimenting with what size socks I like. But I also got new sock needles, which I talked about last week. Finally got a size 1 because I've been using size 1.5, and I think really I should be using size 1. So that possibly changes my gauge and will change the stitch counts that I have been doing in the past. So we'll see. But yeah. Just really like these socks, and I will block them today because I should block them, or at least wash them. I've already worn them, so it would be good to maybe wash them. So yeah, finally finished both sides for these socks. So I'm really happy about that. 3 finished objects in 1 week. I think that is a good amount. It's pretty good. They were all really close to finishing, so it sounds kind of crazy, but it's because they were all 3 things were very close to finishing. So, but yeah, it feels good to get those things off my needles. And of course I added more things onto my needles, but that's the reason to finish things too, right? So yeah, so now transitioning over to talk about my works in progress. I will start with the one that I am currently working on. So this one has actually been a while since I've talked about it on here because I kind of stopped working on it for some time. This is the Peony Sweater by Silva Knits on Instagram. And I've got a lot done, I think, from the last time that I've shown it here. So actually, I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure the collar was not done because I just finished that yesterday. Finally have the collar and did the neck, the V-neck stitches, like the edge here. The pattern does not have buttons for it. It's just to be open. I think I'm just going to wear this over something anyway, so I'm not, I think it'd just be cute open like that. I finished the body with the cables, which well, let me finish talking about what I did so far. So yeah, so the collar, which I love. It's double knitted, same with the V-neck and the little cross here too. And I finished one sleeve, finished that yesterday, and I am almost done with the second sleeve, and then we're done. After that, just block it and we're good. So I'm thinking about finishing this today and blocking it today. And I am mostly, I'll be honest, I didn't really, I'm more looking forward to the end product of this than actually knitting on it. Mostly because I've realized I don't think I like knitting this many cables at once, because the row that had all the where you had to do the actual twist to do the cable, it just took so long to get through every single cable because it goes all the way around. I know I will like the look of it, but it was a lot, so it wasn't particularly enjoyable for me. So if I ever make this pattern again, I'd probably do the non-cabled version. But one of the things I've noticed as I'm starting to finish this sweater or this pullover is that I think my gauge changed from the beginning. So in the beginning, you work the back top part all in stockinette and the front. And I think over there, the gauge was okay. It is nice and big. I think it's 16 by 20 stitches, or 16 stitches by 20 rows. So it's large, and I think as I've gotten, so I wasn't too concerned about it because when I got to the body, doing all the cables, it's normal for the cables because it's kind of like rib stitch. It kind of shrinks, but when you block it, you can, spread it out. But I'm a bit worried that this was supposed to be very oversized. And when I try it on, I just don't see it being that oversized, so I'm a bit worried. And for the sleeves, I had to add so much extra length because it says to do, knit a certain amount and then do decreases every whatever rows, and then once you're done, do the cuff. But I ended here with the decreases, and it was not long enough, so I had to knit. This is kind of a lot more before I did the cuff, so I'm not sure how this is going to look. I have a feeling that it's going to grow a lot once blocked because I am using a fingering weight yarn plus Suri held together, which is Sewrella yarn. I'm using Classic Sock in You Are Good for the Soul, which is the pink color, and then the Suri lace is in the colorway The Lobby, which is the variegated color. So I think it'll grow a lot. I'm hoping it'll grow a lot once I block it, because I want this to be oversized and something I can just put on whatever I'm wearing when it gets cold, but right now it feels kind of fitted. So we'll see. That's why I think I've just been powering through and knitting on this, because I just want to finish it and block it to see how it's going to end up. So yeah, that's been this sweater. But looking forward to it being done and another project to get off my needles. And it is very soft. it's very squishy, so it'll be comfy, hopefully. So yeah, as far as my color choices, like I think it was a good experiment with a variegated Suri that has been, I mean, like this is a variegated Suri on the sweater I'm wearing, but it's a lot more subtle than this one because this variegation, the colors, oh here, I have it like wound up. It's like pink and blue and green and yellow, so it's very different colors, so I wanted to see how that would look. And there is some color pooling like over here, but it's not too bad. It kind of just looks watercolory, I think. And then on the arms, because it is smaller circumference, I think it just ends up looking a bit more stripy, but not that noticeable. So anyway, it was an interesting experiment, and I think it'll be cozy either way. And I've just been really, I think, into these like collars, the double knitted collars. So I'm just excited to have another collared knitted sweater in my collection. But yeah, so we'll see how this looks. Maybe I'll wear it next week as a finished object. So we'll see. But yeah, this is the Peony Sweater. I'm gonna finish it today. I'm gonna work on it once I upload this video. So that's been that. And then I have made a lot of progress on my Cumulus Blouse, which is a pattern by Petite Knit, if you don't know, but I think a lot of people know of the Cumulus Blouse. And I've got a lot of it done. A lot of the body. I think I'm almost there for the length. Like I'm really close to finishing the body. And it's just, this one's just been a relaxing knit. I like knitting with Suri because it feels really soft and it's just overall fun time. It's just plain stockinette, so nothing super interesting going on as far as like doing the actual knitting because it's just knit. But that also makes it a nice project to do when I don't really want to think too much about it or have to count really. So yeah, I love how the color is. This is the yarn I'm using. I'm holding 2 strands of Suri together using Explorer Knits in the colorway Fia from her Ireland collection. And it's just been so nice. I've been wanting to have make this sweater in this colorway for a very long time. It will be my first Cumulus Blouse using Suri, and I know I'm gonna want to live in it once it's done. And like I mentioned, I'm pretty sure I mentioned in the last video, I have sweater quantities of Suri that I want to make into Cumulus Blouses, so I think at some point later I will have a collection of Cumulus Blouses in all of these different colorways that I just really like. So this is start number 1. Well, technically it's number 2 because I do have a Cumulus Blouse that used not Suri, it used mohair. But from now on, I think they will all be in Suri. So that is this one. Once I finish the Peony Sweater, I'm planning on going back to this one to work on, maybe cast on something new because I just have a bajillion things I want to make. And I got some new yarn as well. So transitioning over, not really, it's a work in progress, but it's using yarn that I got last week. And this is also from, so yesterday, how I was saying earlier in the video, yesterday was Camp Woolberry for the Woolberry Collective members, and I bought the camp box that was made for yesterday's events, and it came with a sock set that was to be, there was a pattern by Huga Canyon, that, and I hope I'm saying that correctly, that she made a sock pattern that was for this camp collective and made to be used with the sock set that we got. And so let me just bring up that yarn because it's really cute yarn. Okay. And this is a really interesting sock set because it came with 1 full skein but 3 mini skeins with it, and so I was really excited to see what the pattern would look like. And it is, what do I say the pattern first and then show you? Do I show you the yarn first and then, because I started the sock yesterday throughout the day and I was working on it because I was like, it's during the camp, so I'll start the socks. So the sock pattern is called Day Hike Socks by Huga Canyon, and I'll show you the yarn. It's all caked up, so you can't see it in the skein, but this is the full skein. It is, let me look at the tag. It is, I'm pretty sure it's Camp Woolberry is the name, which is a good name because it was for Camp Woolberry. And I'm hoping the camera focuses on this color because it is a white cream base, but honestly I feel like, and there's a lot of speckles, so there's dark blue, almost like black maybe, with some red. You can see some purple and some brown, orangey brown, and it kind of just looks all very like, I don't know. Actually, I don't know what I'm trying to say. So even though the base is white, I feel like there are really light, and I wonder if it's because the speckle is just kind of like, I don't want to say bleed because they're still very speckly, but that color sometimes leaks in throughout the base as well. So there's some nice like pink moments, which I really like. So that's this base. I think in skein form, it does the colorway more justice than in here, but I think you can get a sense of it. It looks really nice knitted up too. And the 3 mini skeins it came with were these colors. I don't think that there's names for it because the band that came with the yarn doesn't say anything about the colors, but these are the 3 colors. I think they were made to look very like retro-y, or not sure if that's the right word, but a nice dark, they're like darker colors. So this blue, this golden yellow, and a darker pink. It's not maroon pink, but I think these 3 look really cute together. And so anyway, I will show you what I did so far on the sock. So this is a sock. Can you see how cute that main color looks worked up? Like knitted up. I really like it. And I did buy more of it because I knew that I would want to make some kind of like clothing garment out of it besides just socks. So I did get more of it, but I really like how that looks together. And the stripes look so cute. And the other really cool thing about this pattern, I've never done this before on socks, is that the heel has 2 colors. So a little over halfway through making that heel, you switch colors. And I think that's really cute. And so I'm about here. I'm doing the part where you start doing the decreases. I forget what part of the sock this is, but that's where I'm at. I just finished doing the heel pretty much. And they look so cool. I think I want to do, again, it's a pain to weave in ends for stripes, but I think stripes on socks are so cute. Like I think this might be my next obsession, is striped socks and mini skeins. So yeah. So this is my other work in progress. And I do want to share, because I have it on here, part of yesterday's virtual camp. We made stitch markers, and there was a class by Gabriella of Hello Gabriella, and we made stitch markers, and they're mushrooms, and so I made it and immediately put it on my sock. So let's see if I can cover my face and this will focus. Ooh, it's so cute. Yeah, so it's a little mushroom. I put little dots on it and have a little flower in the corner. And I'm actually pretty proud of how it came out. It came out pretty good. I think it's because Gabriella is just a really good teacher and I really enjoyed the class. So who knows, maybe when I get, I don't want to say bored of knitting, but when I want to try something else, maybe I'll get into making stitch markers because it was a lot of fun. It was very interesting. So I love stitch marker. Oh, I also want to share part of our camp box for yesterday's events. I feel so bad. I threw away the thing that the stitch marker came on, but we also got a s'mores stitch marker by Simply Sarah. I feel so bad that I can't remember, but I will put it down in the description below. But look how absolutely cute this s'mores stitch marker is. Oh, please focus. Oh. It is the perfect s'mores stitch marker. The detail on the graham cracker is just amazing. Like the texture on the sides and the color and the little, like, it's just too good. And also the marshmallow and the chocolate, like you can see, I don't know if you can see, but there is, the chocolate has like the little like indent because, you know, it's like the Hershey's chocolates where you can like break it. Anyway, it's so cute. So I'm just in love with this stitch marker as well. More so than, well, mine's because I made it and I think that's pretty cool, but this s'mores one is just next level, truly. Yeah. Okay, and then kind of transitioning into acquisitions for things that I did get last week. There were other things in this camp box that we got from Woolberry. One of the things is the knitting PT massage ball that we got because in the morning there was a ergonomics class by Andrea Louie. I hope that's how you say her name. She's the knitting PT on Instagram, and I've been following her and watching her videos, and I think it's really cool what she does and has specific exercises and stretches for knitting specific and to help with maybe knitting related, I don't want to say injuries, but maybe like problems or soreness that might happen because of knitting or crafting. And I have these, I do have similar massage balls like this, but they are like, I don't want to say ugly colors, but it's like this, it's just red and dark blue. And having a pink one just makes me actually want to use it. So I think it's so cute. I'm so happy they chose to do a pink color because I love pink. And so I will be using this for like everything. And then the exercises she had us do with this were so great. Like I never thought about using this for kind of anything else besides my back. But yeah, you can also use it for your arms. And I think like one of them was like to have it on like a table and to do this, because for me over here does get sore or really tight kind of often, and so I thought that was a great exercise. There were so many, and so I feel motivated now to continue to stretch and strengthen and to do those exercises to make sure that I can keep knitting for as long as possible. So that was another great thing from the camp yesterday. And then another thing that was part of the box was some Woolberry wool wash in the, I was going to say the colorway, but in the scent Camp Woolberry. And I am not great at describing scents, but if you were to put like a cabin in the woods kind of feel, like that feel as a scent, I feel like this is it. Smells like the forest, but it's not too overpowering. I feel like I've smelled other things that are supposed to smell like outdoorsy and it's like too strong. But this one is not strong. It just smells that nice, like actual subtle scent of it. Like if you were actually there. It's not overpowering, and I'm really excited to try this on something. So, oh, maybe I'll try it on my peony sweater when I finish it today. I'll do that. Oh, and do it with my socks as well. I'll use this for my socks. Alright, so I'll keep that out because I'll use it today. And just a couple more things that I did get. And this was from being in Woolberry's collective. So this was, I believe it was for September. It was one of September's colorways. It was called Hello Autumn, and I mean, it is so pretty, and it is the like Hello Autumn. Hello Autumn. It has the most perfect like fall brown, like leaves color, that brown leaves color that you see during fall, and the most nice pink, light pink, and those darker pinks. I need to look up a better color description for this besides just a dark pink, because I think I actually have a lot of colors that are this kind of shade, and I've just been like dark pink because I don't know what to say. It's not maroon. Someone help me in the comments below, please. But this is perfect, and so can you guess what I did? So this is in the base Berry Merino, but because I love this color so much, I had to get it in more bases. One of them, can you guess? I got in Suri, and that's what this colorway looks like in Suri. I'm not sure. I may turn it into a Cumulus Blouse. I'm not sure, but it's so soft and fluffy looking. And then I also had to get it in the Berry Natural base, because after I felt what Woolberry's Berry Natural base felt like, it is so soft, and you can't even tell that it's a natural base. It's so soft and squishy, and the colorways that come out on it are so soft and blended. And so if you compare it to the Berry Merino, the 100% superwash merino base, and this one is 100% non-superwash 20.5 micron merino, you can see that it's just a lot softer and blended, but I do really like that color as well, and so I had to get it on 3 bases. So we'll see how that looks on whatever I decide to make with them, because they're so pretty. They're like, I'm not really, I can see, I like fall colors, like those dark browns and those orangey browns, but I kind of feel like, I never feel like wanting to, not that I don't want to make something out of it, but I just prefer pinks, and so I think this is the perfect fall pink, because it still has those orangey browny tones to it, but with the pink, so it's not just full-on brown or orange or red, if that makes any sense. So really excited about those as well. And yeah, when I decide to cast something on with them, I will share it here, as always with everything that I am knitting on. So let me think, is that everything? That is everything that I brought with me here to film. So yeah, I will end it there, and I will hopefully get this video up for you today on a Sunday. I had such a great time yesterday at Camp Woolberry. As you can tell, I love the socks, so I'll be continuing to knit on those, and I plan to have some finished objects for next week as well. I've just been enjoying knitting lately and trying to get more involved in the community and meeting some people, which is just, it's still scary to me, but I think I'm feeling a bit more like putting myself out there and just trying it. So it's been good so far, and yeah, knitting has been going strong, and I think that's all there is to say. I really just want to get back to knitting, if I'm going to be honest. I'm happy to share what I'm working on, but yeah, I am excited to finish my peony sweater today and to see how that looks. I'm kind of anxious about it, just because I hope it turns out to fit the way that I am, or envisioned for it to fit when I decided to cast it on. So So yeah, that will be the end of the podcast today. I hope that you had a great time, and let me know in the comments down below what you are currently working on as well, or if there's something that you are looking forward to casting on this week or just anytime soon, or just in general things that you want to cast on. I have a whole list. I kind of wonder if maybe soon I'll go through another, maybe either in a podcast or maybe like a non-podcast video and sharing what my plans are for fall and winter this year, because there's a lot, and there's a lot of yarn that I'm excited about. So yeah, let me know if you want to see that as well, if that's interesting. Not totally sure, but yes, so I'll wrap it up now finally. I hope you're having a great day. Hope you will have a great week, and I will see you next time. Bye!